Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Black artist time and black, and again asking you to hit that share button. If you have hit like or subscribe, thank you. But if you've hit the share button, that's really where it's at. I want to send out a shout to Kwaku Black, who sent me a link to Kai Element's video talking about we're not mourning the deaths of allies like Kobe Bryant. I recently looked back through the titles of her videos. They go back about 2 years so far. And what I saw is that she has nothing to say about black women in this world. Not a goddamn thing. Nothing. Now she's already talking about, and I'm only a few minutes in, she's already talking about, let me see how far in I've gotten. I'm only at 3:49 right now, and I got to listen to some more. But so far, she has said that Kobe was accused of anally raping a woman that worked at a hotel. Actually, he was accused and then acquitted because they couldn't find consistency in her story, from what I understand. Yes, she worked at a hotel. Yes, she said that he anally raped her. I don't know what reason she would have to make that up, but then again, we now understand how common false rape accusations are. We now realize this. I know because I was working with a black man who got falsely accused of rape. I remember telling him, bro, you got to leave these white women alone. They're going to get you. Yeah, but they walk up to me and come to me. Yeah, I know. But see, we're not in our hometown anymore. We're all from the same area, but we're working right now in the north. This is Ohio. Yeah, I know it's Ohio, but you know what else? It's also rural Ohio. You remember them Confederate flags we saw in them people's front yards? Be careful, dude, because it's still America. Guess what? You know what this dude did? Went out, partied with some folks he didn't know, and a woman he did not pay attention to said he raped her. The thing that got him off the hook was that her own family said she was mentally ill and she had falsely accused someone before. And this is why he was not arrested. But you know what that did lead to? It led to him being laid off later at his job. He had to show up. He was transferred right around that time. He had to show up late for the transfer, explaining that he was cooperating with an investigation, with a police investigation, into him for something he didn't do. And that if he stayed, the evidence would show that he didn't do it. So he transferred in a day late. And this was held against him. He was then moved from the job at which he was very good. Not only was he moved geographically at this point, additionally, he was moved from a post at which he was very good to a post at which he had no experience, and then he was blamed for underperforming while he was new. Then came the layoffs, and I was one of those that got laid off, and so was he. At the end of the day, the message sent to us was, you niggas are making too much money at this good job. And we're mad that Obama won re-election. But he had to face that false rape accusation. Now, Loadkast, I'm getting somewhere with this. She's already going in on an accusation like it's a conviction. If most of us are so anti-black, then why would I sit up here and say that the fact that a white woman accused a black man of rape automatically undermines his credibility? That's not something that an anti-black person would say, Kai Element. See, you could conceivably be SYSBM and be pro-black to a certain extent, but you cannot be pro-strag. You cannot be pro-black American to a certain extent, because there are things in the culture that need to be changed. The only way you could be even pro-black American is if you're saying that we got to start another community with a different culture. And that's where I agree. I agree with some of the guys that are SYSBM, but more so IBMOR in that regard. See, when I recorded my video with the rant, I wasn't really thinking only of SYSBM. I mean, the video that I entitled A Rant I Can't Entitle, that was about just black men in general. Now, when I was defending SYSBM, we're right, y'all are wrong. Yeah, I was speaking from the standpoint of SYSBM, considering the possibility that they may not even consider me one for other reasons, but the fact is that SYSBM is a reaction that is necessary. It's not something it's a luxury. You see, Loadkast, I don't show my face, and that's largely to protect not only my privacy, but other people's privacy. I've had white supremacists, cyber vigilantes gunning for me before. And that was because of pro-black things that I said and pro-Muslim things I said. It was because of that. Now, my stance morally has not changed much. And my moral stance is the white world is wrong and the black world is correct for how we react, or anything we do to oppose white supremacy is correct. And that the only fair fight is if we win and they lose, because they're the bad guys, so to speak, and we're the good guys in this fight. Now, that doesn't mean we're always good. That means that in this fight, we're the ones who are good. And you'll hear me say to SYSBM men, leave them Beckys alone because they're trouble. You hear me say that. Not because I hate white people because they're white. It's because I hate oppressors because they're oppressors. And white folks are still oppressors. I don't wear dashikis. I don't wear beads. None of that. I wear a bald head, and I wear t-shirts in my free time when I'm not at work that are quite pro-black, pro-African. Sometimes I have an African medallion that I wear. I got it from a South African colleague of mine. I do that. But stereotypes, I understand, and I'm not trying to fit them either. And maybe we can't use the stereotypical pro-black. The problem is this. You know how, see, it's just like the stereotypical black woman. Bitter, loud, all that stuff, right? Overweight, got attitude. You know, like the one that was chasing after Norbert in that movie. That's a stereotype, right? The stereotype jumps out at you. It comes after you. It seeks you out because it wants to harm someone. And it's the same thing with the stereotypical pro-blacks. They should be called pro-wax, because when they come out acting as stereotype, interrupting your regular basic conversations with everybody else, yeah, brother, we gotta free this brother here from the prison. Wait, hold up. I was talking to my family right quick. Yeah, but brother, this is what I do. Sorry to interrupt, but we gotta free this brother from this prison. Brother, what does that smell? Oh, brother, I was eating garlic earlier. Okay, and you sit up here talking to people's face, trying to convince them to ignore their families that they were talking to, let you interrupt them to free someone they never heard of. I mean, really, bro, I dealt with that. Dealt with that in college. I went to college pro-black. There are quite a few niggas I didn't kill growing up because I'm pro-black. And these pro-blacks, or rather pro-wax, that were the stereotype, the negative stereotypes, these guys came out of the woodwork with all kinds of foolishness. Niggas just lost. They were as lost as the people who were just running the streets, man. I know this, I understand it, because I came up in a pro-black household, and I'm still pro-black now. And that's why I said that's the reason why I said in another in another video, that SYSBM men have to filter out women of other backgrounds based on how that woman's culture views black people and blackness. So yes, do black men have to expand their options and look into non-black American women? Yes. This is not an option. This is forced on us. We have to do that. By the same token, does that mean that black men should be out here willing to consider Arabs, whites, whites, non-black Arabs, Chinese and Korean women, Pakistani and Indian and Afghan women? Hell, knuckin' fo. Now, that was spoonerism because I'm trying not to cuss. But no, we shouldn't consider them. Why? I've said we should weed them out based on their cultures and their culture's views of blackness. Weed them out. India's got a problem with skin bleach. And you know what? Pakistan's worse. Now, why would a Muslim tell you that India is bad, but the Muslim alternative, Pakistan, is even worse? Because in India, there's also a backlash against the colorism and the skin bleach from Indians. In Pakistan, there is not even a backlash against it. The pro-white beauty standard is completely uncontested in Afghanistan and Pakistan. A non-black Muslim is the most likely to hold to white supremacy and white standards of beauty. That are most likely, and that are least likely to even tolerate any sort of dissent. I sat up here and I saw on Memory TV where a sheikh was talking about the women of paradise. This was in Arabic. The translation helped me out, but the important part I could vouch for being translated correctly, even though I'm not fluent. I'm still learning it. And this man made mention of the wideness of the eyes and the whiteness of the skin of the women of paradise. And I was just like, see, now he used one word, lu'lu' maknun, and that is a pearl untouched. And this is something that a lot of these guys here, a lot of the religious men in this region in which I live, use to justify the idea that the women of paradise are white, and that's because it's in our nature to prefer whiteness in a woman. I'm like, why did God make women that were jet black and they have babies? If that's the case, you saying that God is a racist and a colorist like you? They're using this. They're blaspheming against God because they don't know one thing about pearls, and that is that pearls come in four colors naturally: white, gray, purple, and black. So no, I'm pro-black. But I got to tell the SYSBM guys some of the pro-black stuff because they may not be aware of how anti-black some of these cultures are. Now, while they're unaware of that, I'm going to get to that in a minute. See, the thing is, I got to tell them this. But I got to tell you and others like you who want there to always be a black community that, as you well know as a Jamaican, there are black communities outside of the United States. Okay? Now you know that. The problem is, if it's true that you're Jamaican, as I heard, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just something I heard. But if it's true that you're Jamaican, then you understand how the problem is back home, backyard. When them women want Bodman and Rude Boy, same thing, different accent. Nigger shit, dysgenic mating preferences. And unlike other SYSBM and IBMOR men, I don't recognize the right of black women to have that kind of mating preference. They say the women have the right to their preferences, they just got to deal with the consequences just like we do. And we have the right to our preferences and we have to deal with the outcomes. That still makes SYSBM and IBMOR men superior to regular niggas that insist on the black queen and the black goddess. No, goddamn well ain't no human being God. Because if a human being is God, then the whole universe is in trouble. I'm talking every galaxy, places we don't even know exist. If a human being can be God. So what we're dealing with here is a system in which, unfortunately, I got to tell SYSBM guys one thing on that end because there's something they're overlooking. But I also got to tell your camp something on you all's end because there's something you all overlooking. The thing is, they may really not know in the beginning stages of SYSBM, the new cats may really not know which culture is like what. They may really just not know it. They just don't know, and they can find out the hard way. And I'm saying, hey, you know what? You ain't got to find out the hard way. I've spied on these feather muckers. I can tell you who's friendly and who's not. But you cats, you all have been in the community for generations, and you know goddamn well that the strag is dragging the community down. This is no secret. Everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. She's a damn problem. She only wants immoral men. Not just tough guys, but immoral men. The morality is enough to drive them away. Nipsey Hussle ain't nobody's nerd. Ain't nothing like Steve Urkel or Carlton Banks. He was just positive. He still was around them hood niggas too much. I'm talking unrepentant street niggas, as we know and as we saw based on who shot him, a dude that called himself Shitty. But the thing is that Nipsey Hussle was in an interview one time, and he was with Lauren London. So he accepted Lauren London bringing Lil Wayne's baby to him. He accepted this. Now, as a Gulf Coast Negro myself, I can tell you that street niggas in the Gulf Coast are more than trifling. New Orleans has a special reputation amongst us on the Gulf Coast. Them niggas are more than trifling. Those niggas are grimy. I'm telling you, they are beyond. And you know, if you're in Florida, you probably heard yourself how they used to be. They were terrible. They epitomized evil to a certain extent. They did evil shit because it's evil. Not just even know it was evil. I mean, these were dudes that got to a point where if you could afford to get out of the game and you tried to get out, they wouldn't let you out because it wasn't evil enough. That's how these niggas were. So Memphis and New Orleans, think about it. What other city would come up with a group like 3-6 Mafia, the devil's number? Memphis and New Orleans. Those are the only two places like that. New Orleans niggas had a similar mindset. It was almost devil worship. They wanted to be as evil as possible. So Lil Wayne has a baby with Lauren London because Lauren London picked this nigga because he grimy. Let's call it what it is. She said this before she had the baby. She said it in King magazine. She told us what she wanted. She fell in love with a fictitious character named O-Dog. because he shot some people, because he murked some people over a damn argument. She said this herself. First she loved Kane, but then when O-Dog shot the couple, she fell in love with him. She said this in King magazine a long time ago. Has Lil Wayne's baby, brings Lil Wayne's baby to Nipsey Hussle, and what does she say then? Nipsey Hussle's listening to motivational tapes, and she said they were corny and boring. This is what we're dealing with, and Lauren London doesn't even have a black father. She only got a black mother. We're dealing with a serious scenario, Loadkast, in which we black men with minds and consciences are being driven the fuck away. I didn't mean to curse, but we can't stay with a community like that. I'm the one that's actually saying to these men, listen, keep it black if you can. But you got to be careful even keeping it black. And if you don't know where to keep it black and keep it safe, because let's be honest, Africa's mixed. So, it's the good and the bad and everything in between. So if that's the case, then hey, look, if you're not Muslim, try the Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia. If you are Muslim, go to the southern Philippines and Indonesia and Malaysia. I'm the one that's saying this to them so that when they do find a quality Stargate of whatever background, she's still of a background from which his in-laws ain't going to be pressured to give him crap and treat his kids bad. I even recorded something about that. I recorded that too. Check out my video in which I say it's to SYSBM men considering non-black women, or to black men considering non-black women. It's one of those two. I don't memorize my own titles. Sorry about that. But see, that's the thing. I understand what you mean about we shouldn't just vanish and die off. Yeah, I get it. I don't want to see us diluted. I'm already diluted enough. I was one of those that was pushed away, not even for being lame or weak. I was pushed away for looking lame or weak. And the only reason I looked like it was because I was pale and my hair was straight. I didn't look recognizably black. That's all. That's all the hell it took. And I went through years of confusion. I explained that in another video about how being pro-blackness or black consciousness, how black consciousness and colorism led me to Ibmore and the red pill. I explained that, and it's a 48-minute long video. I recorded it about the beginning of last summer or the end of last spring because some people wanted to know, well, where did you get this from? No, man, I'm not saying what I say out of some kind of hatred, bro. But Kai Element is already on that bullshit. And I'm only 3 minutes in. I got 8 more minutes to listen. I'm about to get ready for work. I'm going to listen to it while I'm showering. Then, not only that, but I'm listening to what other black women say. And the fact is, Loadkast, we've been shown what the hell we're worth to them. I know that there are men out there that are dating certain single mothers because they like the kids more. I get it, because the kids are innocent. I understand that. But what we're saying, and what I've said even before this, is that if we're going to be mentoring these single mamas' kids, then we need to collectively decide that we're going to do it on one condition. We're allowed to tell the kids about the fucked up choices their mothers made. Not because we hate the mothers, but so that the kids can break that damn cycle. And we should be allowed to tell them about these choices when they are young. That's the term and condition I've said. You want mentor kids? Okay, fine, mentor them. Tell them the truth. Your mama picked your daddy because your daddy wasn't shit. And he probably still had the decency to want to be in your life if he knew about you in the first place. However, that morality and that decency is unappealing, so she probably drove his ass away or didn't tell him about you in the first place. Or there's a possibility your dad just wasn't there. There's the other possibility too. Usually if your dad ain't there at all, he don't know about you. Or she drove him away. The CDC has confirmed this themselves. This is something we need to tell these kids. Your mother made effed up mating choices. Now, other SYSBM men would say she just has to deal with the consequences, but it's not your fault. That's what others would say if they're allowed to mentor kids under their own terms. I'm the nigga that would come up and say, and that's the only reason I'm calling myself a nigga, because it's just so inappropriate, but it's necessary. I'm the one that would come up and say her standards were fucked up, her tastes were bad. Not because she didn't want me, I understand that. But because she didn't want morality, she didn't want decency, these things bored her out of her mind. And I know because it was last May. Last time I was back in my home state, I visited my son. Went with him to visit a friend of mine because I was only going to be in my home state for a week, right? Guess what happened? Like I said in my last video, my friend's mother told my friend and me and my son that she wished her husband would do something manly for a change, like have a girlfriend on the side. She thinks that's so sexy. Now, she's old enough to be a grandmother. She's in her 60s, about to hit her 70s. She might be in her 70s, saying some ignorant stuff like this. I mean, come on, say this in front of my 18-year-old son. Well, she opened his eyes. She was honest about it. I appreciate that. But that's what the F we dealing with. She's a middle-class woman. Came up maybe 90 octane, I'd say. And this is what's coming out her mouth. My mother found this out. She didn't believe me when I told her. She found that out from her friends in a larger city than ours who all had daughters. And they were trying to find good guys for their daughters because they're good guys. And we were talking about the daughters of doctors and attorneys and people connected in city politics doing quite well. They told my mother, yes, our daughters. Actually, my mother asked them because she didn't believe what I said. Well, my son Blackheart and his brother said that they pretty much just want either football players or thugs or rappers. And these mothers said, yes, that's true. So then my mother was like, well, y'all can't fix any of your daughters up with my sons because he knows this about them already. And he's not going to give a woman like that a chance. And you know what? I didn't. The woman I gave a chance to was actually from a hood, but she wasn't chasing after these kind of guys. And I still wound up getting burned. I don't mean burned in terms of diseases, but that's how my son came about. She planned that pregnancy. I found that out when her own mother told my mother this. You understand now why I can't show my face and put my name out there. I gotta tell my business in order to illustrate and prove certain lessons. But to do that, I gotta protect other people's privacy, especially when they stop doing the foolishness that they were doing. Loadkast, look, bruh, I'm not saying this out of hatred for you. You were civil, although I am still salty about how you compared SYSBM to GAY. But the fact is that if the alternative is a necessity, then you can take issue with BGS or with Mr. Anderson because they kind of spoke up for us, but neither one of them claims SYSBM. I don't even assume that I'm SYSBM. I'm simply waiting on SYSBM to tell me if I am or not with a unified voice. But I'm going to defend their position because they were forced to take it and make that decision. They don't have the option of not being SYSBM. Like I said, black women are driving black men away. They've been doing it. Black men are not driving black women away. You're not driving black women away. But you know goddamn well that there is a very, very low threshold of beauty before a woman's attitude starts to tank and decline in the West. You know that. In America, if she can have a big old gut, but she got some titties to compete with it, and she's got an attitude out this goddamn world. Now imagine if, just imagine if she had, imagine if she has no gut, no extra gut, and big old titties, and a big old booty. You can go abroad, you can find a woman that's that gorgeous and still has a good attitude. Or you could go abroad and find a woman that may not have a big butt because it's not in the DNA, but she's still gorgeous and she has a good attitude. But when you go back into the West, not just the U.S., bro, I mean, even down a yard, as you know, when they look good, and if they don't even look that good, they're going to have a goddamn attitude problem. Guaranteed. It's just that if you're one of the guys that they happen to want, then you may not know they have an attitude problem. You may not find this out. And I don't mean an attitude problem, just that it's more than just you're not their type. It goes beyond that. It's more like not only are you not their type, but they're going to lie about the shit. Or they'll tell you not their type, but then they want to friend zone your ass and then turn around and try to fix you up with their ugly friends. And you bring in a hell of a lot more into the table than they are. Just stuff like that. Just in general, understanding that they undervalue you, but they're not coming out and telling you what the game is. Because at the end of the day, they ain't going to tell you what the game is because they know that their tire's going to go flat and they don't want to pay someone to come change it. They'd rather have you on a string calling you at 2 or 3 in the morning. And we're saying we're not going to be stupid enough to answer them phone calls no more and be their friends no more. It's either you bend over the couch or, and now for me, that can be in a marriage only. But for other guys, it's like, look, you bend over the couch for me the same way you do for some other cat. I'm not taking you out on these dates and you call some other guy. You bring the leftovers to him, feed him, and he rearranges your insides for free. Really, that's all we're saying. We're not paying for what you're giving to some other dude for free. And I'm adding to that, man. I'm saying I'm not going to be a moral guy and then turn around and pay for what you give to some other dude for free, and he has no morals and no sense of responsibility. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to respect your right to have that kind of taste. Well, that's what I'm attracted to, because you're stupid, because you're an animal. I mean, you choosing a man based on a lack of morality? You're assuming that a sense of responsibility and morality is a sign of weakness? You see, we're dealing with the one culture of women, sir. The black Western woman. You know what? I'll throw the white woman in there too. But I know this is true about sisters. We're dealing with the one culture of women that cannot see balanced behavior in men who actually are balanced. They're not too kind that they're pushovers, but they're not too mean to cooperate with other people. They can't see that balance. Every man is either one or the other, but when he actually is too much of a jerk, then they want to try to tell people that he's balanced to justify that they're out there fucking them. You can't mate in a system like this. Now, if you want to have kids, you cannot mate in a system like this. I'm done having kids. I could better afford to be with a strag than most other guys could. But most other guys, they want to have kids, and that's natural. They can't afford to do that with the black American, the black Brit, and the black Canadian woman. And as you know, the black Jamaican woman, the Nigerian women in many cases. According to Babatunde Umana. That's all I was trying to get at, bro. Yeah, I will tell them about the pro-black elements that they need to keep, at least enough to where they don't subject themselves to racist in-laws. But that's something I got to tell them. I don't have to tell you that. But then I got to tell you, look, they can't go back to the strag, bro. They can't go back to the black Western bitch. I mean, I've already told them the white Western bitch is dangerous. The wicked witch of the West, I've already explained that. But I got to tell them, you can't, okay, I have to tell you that they can't go back to the black Western woman. Because she done kicked them out. She done evicted them. She may not say, get the F out. It's more like, oh no, I'll never fuck you, but you need to come change my tire because I'm out here on the road at 2, 3 in the morning. You need to come paint my house because my apartment walls are crumbling. I need you to help me move, but I'll never bend over your couch. Shit, I wouldn't even validate you sexually by trying to hook you up with a friend of mine that's as attractive as you are. I wouldn't even do that. That's what we're dealing with. That's an eviction. Oh, but you know what? Now that I've got this fat ass gut and these other men's kids, and these bills and these debts and all this other baggage and stuff like that, now I'm going to consider you because you're such a good guy, and I don't know why I didn't pick you earlier. And we're dealing with this in real life. I heard this was going to happen when I was younger. I thought, man, that's crazy. She's gorgeous. She ain't never going to say nothing like that to this dude over here, let alone to me. What the fuck am I hearing now? I'm not the only one hearing this. Actually, I hear it less often than other men do. Other men, they've been hearing this left and right. And what I'm saying to these men is, you can't go back to them. You can't afford that. They already look down on you. And they'll just look down on you more if you were to accept a deal like that, because they know they offered their best to the worst dude. So if you were willing to accept their worst and you're the better dude in this situation, the best in their situation, they'll just actually respect you even less and think that you're a goddamn fool. Don't take it. That's what I got to say to these men. I got to tell them what I told them. On one hand, yeah, filter out the cultures that are anti-black. Those are the Chinese, the Koreans, sometimes the Japanese, but I don't have much experience with them. The Chinese and the Koreans, yes. Indians, Pakistanis, the Afghans, absolutely. Non-black Arabs, absolutely. Definitely. The only reason you should be marrying any of them is just to piss off their people. And even then, don't have kids with them because the in-laws ain't going to treat your kids well. I tell them that. Anyway, I think I made the point. I'm sorry for going on for so long. But, yeah, man, it's like, okay, you don't hate us. I don't hate you. But see, when you said that it's like an alternative lifestyle or like a gateway to an alternative lifestyle, you took a lot of guys who were actually in black areas of the world outside the West. Barranquilla, Colombia, as an example. You took guys who were there and you painted them with a brush that could get them arrested or killed in some of these areas in which they are. For me, if I was going to step out again, I'm already married to a black non-ADOS woman. If I was going to marry another black woman, she would probably be a black Arab woman from the Gulf. But imagine if you have successfully convinced the world that black American men with passports traveling abroad are gay. and then I go and I try to marry one of them. Now it's not about race anymore. When I talk to the family and talk to her, the question's gonna come up, aren't you niggas gay? Now, you see what you could have caused? Between black people, sir. And that's why I said, that's why I'm salty about you saying that. So I'd recommend that you at least admit that there is no motive for a man to be SYSBM if he has latent homosexual tendencies. That those two don't go together. At least admit that. Anyway, I hope that what I've said one day will no longer be true. Until then, I hope that it is a benefit. Black heart, sign and black out. Assalamu alaikum and black male power.